The sound of my mother's wine glass breaking wasn't what made the room go silent. It was my daughter's breath catching after she hit the floor. My name is Natalie Brooks, and I still don't know which memory hurts more, the moment Ava fell, or the fact that nobody even reacted like it mattered. Not even me. That's the part I can't forgive myself for, because somewhere deep down, I think I already knew what would happen in that room. Ava was standing beside a chair, her small fingers resting on the backrest, like she was asking permission from the furniture itself. She was 10, too careful for her age. She had spent the entire drive asking me again and again if Grandma would like the Christmas card she made. She was smiling when she saw her name card. That smile didn't last even 2 seconds. My mother moved first, fast, too controlled, like she had rehearsed it. Before I even understood the shift in energy, her hand locked around Ava's arm. "That seat is not for you." She pulled her back, not gently, not accidentally, decisively. Ava stumbled, her dress twisting as her knee struck the floor. And just like that, Christmas stopped being Christmas. Silverware froze midair. Someone coughed like they were trying to restart reality. The TV in the next room kept playing a Christmas movie nobody was watching anymore. My daughter looked up at me first. Not my mother, not my father. Me. That look still lives in my chest. Not pain, confusion. Because children don't immediately understand betrayal. They wait for adults to correct it. Nobody corrected it. Instead, my mother calmly pulled my brother's son, Owen, into the chair and smoothed his sweater like she was fixing a harmless mistake. Like Ava had simply misread where she belonged. My father barely glanced at her knee. "It's fine," he said flatly. "Just move her somewhere else." 20 people, a full table. Not one stood up. Not one asked if she was okay. Not one said her name. I lifted Ava myself. She was shaking so hard her hands wouldn't stay still. Not crying yet. That came later. But in that moment, she was just trying to understand what she did wrong. And something inside me went quiet. Not broken, quiet. Like a switch had been flipped. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. People always think betrayal creates noise. Mine didn't. I just looked around the table. At my mother, at my father, at Carter, who suddenly found his plate extremely interesting, and I said 3 words. "Check your phone." That was the moment everything started to collapse. One notification, then another, then another. My mother's expression changed first. Confusion, then panic, then something close to fear. Her wine glass slipped before she even realized she had let go. It shattered against the plate, and suddenly, everyone cared. Not about Ava, not about what happened to her, but about the phones lighting up across the table. Funny how silence breaks fastest when consequences arrive. Because nobody reacted when my daughter hit the floor. But when their secrets did, the room finally woke up. And that was the real beginning of the story. Not Christmas. Something much older. Something quieter. Something rotten in ways nobody ever admitted. I grew up learning one rule without ever being told it directly. Carter mattered. I didn't. Families don't announce that kind of hierarchy. They build it slowly. Through who gets defended, who gets corrected, who gets forgiven without apology. Carter could fail and still be understood. I could succeed and still be questioned. That difference shaped everything. Even my childhood didn't feel like mine. It felt like a comparison I was always losing. And I told myself if I became good enough, calm enough, useful enough, it would eventually balance out. It never did. Then I had Ava, and I made the same mistake every wounded child makes when they become a parent. I thought love would reset the system. It didn't. It just found a new target. My mother adored Owen. Everyone saw it, except the people who benefited from pretending otherwise. She showed up to his games in the cold, held signs, took photos like she was documenting a legacy. But Ava's choir concert? Too tired. A birthday card? Late. A sweater? Clearance rack. Once, Ava asked me quietly from the back seat, "Mom, does Grandma like boys better?" I remember tightening my grip on the wheel so hard my fingers hurt. I should have said no immediately. Instead, I said the truth I didn't want to admit. "I don't know." She nodded like she already understood, then whispered something I'll never forget. "I'll try harder next time." That sentence followed me for days, because that's how it starts. Not anger, not rebellion. Negotiation. Children learning how to earn basic love. A few weeks before Christmas, my mother asked me to help decorate. Carter was busy, of course. Carter was always busy in ways that mattered. I wasn't. But I still went, because some part of me still believed effort could buy belonging. That afternoon, while setting up decorations, she asked me to check something on the family iPad. A simple grocery confirmation. That's all it was supposed to be. But a notification appeared, and my life split cleanly in half. Evelyn Pierce Family Trust. My grandmother. I opened it without thinking. Then I saw my name, then Carter's, then numbers that made no emotional sense in a house that had always told me there was nothing left. Equal beneficiaries. Equal. That word didn't belong in my family. I kept reading. Home renovations, school tuition, business investments, vacations. Years of transactions. All of it flowing in one direction. Not toward me, not toward Ava, toward Carter. My mother was humming in the kitchen while I scrolled. That detail never leaves. The sound of someone completely comfortable while your world is quietly collapsing. I took photos, closed the iPad, finished decorating, smiled when I was expected to, then drove home like my body was still attached to a life I didn't recognize anymore. For days, I tried to deny it, because accepting it meant rewriting my entire childhood in real time. People like me don't want truth first. We want softer explanations. But there weren't any. The attorney confirmed everything. The trust was real. The money was real. The theft was real. And the shame I had carried for years? That was never mine. It was assigned by people who benefited from my silence. By Christmas, I had everything ready legally, but I hesitated, because even after everything, I still didn't want to ruin the holiday. That's how deeply conditioning works. Then my mother touched Ava, and something in me finally stopped asking permission. The moment we left that house, Ava didn't cry right away. She held it in, like she didn't want to be a problem even in pain. Only in the car did she break, quietly, touching her knee, whispering, "Grandma doesn't think I'm real, does she?" I had no perfect answer, only truth. "I don't know why she is like that," I said, "but she doesn't get to decide who you are." Ava nodded, but I could tell she didn't fully believe me yet, because children don't heal from moments like that immediately. Neither do mothers. At home, I made hot chocolate and let her fall asleep on the couch, still in her dress. My phone exploded. Anger, crying, accusations. But not one message asked about Ava. Not one. That told me everything. Months later, nothing is the same. Lawyers replaced dinners. Silence replaced obligation. Some people call it a broken family, but that's not accurate. Nothing broke that day. It was already broken. Christmas was just the first time I stopped pretending it wasn't. And I still don't know what hurts more, what happened to my daughter, or how long I let it happen before I finally said no.